When I was 10 years old, so several years after my holy encounter, I went to church for the first time. And this is when I began straddling two different worlds. The little United Methodist Church in rural Indiana did not say anything about the God that I met out in the field. The God they shared was the God up there, out there, somewhere, always looking down, always watching. And yet I had to ask this God to be present. In spite of God's omnipotence, I had to ask God to listen. I just God to be present. I had to intentionally invite God into my heart, which for me was very different from the God who spontaneously met me out in the field. Along with this God up there, out there somewhere, and the need to ask, I was taught that my body needed to be in a certain position when this happened. This was the mantra. Bow your head, close your eyes, fold your hands. Notice the contrast. Notice the contrast between how the church taught me to approach God and how my body responded naturally when I encountered the heavenly presence out in the field. In the church, I was taught to fold in, and I suspect you were too. But my natural response to the holy energy when I was out in creation was to open up, to stretch, move, and turn. What an interesting tension. And I lived with that tension for a long, long time. It was confusing. It was almost like there were two different gods. The God of the institution and the God of nature. The God in the church basement and the God who went dancing with me in the field. And the truth was, I only wanted one God. A couple of years later, my family stopped taking me to church. I stopped going when I was 12, and I didn't return until I was in my early 20s. And then I went back for a while. In my mid-30s, I made a decision, a conscious, intentional decision, to approach God differently. No longer was I willing to approach the God up there, out there somewhere. No longer was I going to ask for help, presence, or forgiveness. Instead, I decided I was going to approach God with gratitude, awareness, appreciation. Approaching with awareness required the most attention.